Welcome back, everybody, to the Blues feed. It's Danny here today on our own to preview the Liverpool game, as Luke is still on holiday. So, before we get into the video, just want to remind everybody of the 1K subscriber giveaway. Drop a subscribe to enter and a comment down below. Please like the video as well to get this shared to as many people as possible, and we'll get closer and closer to that goal so we can give away a shirt of your choice for the 25-26 season. Right, to jump into it, I think one of the important things to discuss is a big, big game for both managers. I think Arne Slot has seemed to be a little bit lost this year. The tactical change with Wirtz in the team, losing a bit of that forward pressure, and he seems to be a little bit rattled, like he's under pressure. They bought in the summer for the buy now, the win now kind of situation with Isak and Katike and Wirtz, Kirkes, Frimpong, and he just looks a bit rattled, a bit under pressure, calling out his players when they lost the other day, losing in the Champions League. It's just not quite right, and I think we need to really hammer home that in this game. I think they're a little bit off it. They're a little bit nervous. I think if we can get the crowd on our side early with some high pressure and really attack them because they're quite weak defensively, then I think we can nick something out of this. Do I think that will happen? We'll get onto that a little bit later with my predictions of the game and how we expect it to go. But I think there's a real chance that we could get something if we play well and if we can manage our injury situation with 7 or 8 players out. And I think it's a big game for Maresca as well. We obviously won in the week with against Benfica. I thought it was a pretty shaky performance. There were some good spells, there were some bad spells. I thought Badiashile was excellent and a really good time for him to come back as we have no other centre back. So I think he will be quite key in this game as well. But it's a big game for momentum going into the international break. If we can go into it with some sort of result against Liverpool, even a win, and then it's a Benfica and a Liverpool win going into the international break, hopefully with a couple of players that will come back, definitely Fofana, definitely toss in, potentially Cole, and we can start building into the season of what we would like and what we kind of expected at the start. To kind of discuss on the injuries for both sides, obviously Liverpool lost Alisson last week. There's doubts about Ekatike. I think Slot said that he might be in training today, but if he'll be fit to start or not, I don't know. And I don't think they know. So it's probably going to be Isak up front against us, and then for our side, obviously, no Trev, no who's suspended, no Fofana, no Tosin. Don't think Lavia will be fit to start. Santos is a doubt. Um, who else? Who else have we got out? We've got no Cole. So we're going to have a little bit of a mishmash of a side like we have. We're going to have to try and find solutions, as Enzo Maresca says. Um, and but we just need to get a result realistically. Um, I would we'll go on to the team I would like in a little bit, but I would like to see him trust a few of the players that haven't been played as much, like your Josh, etc. But we'll get into that in a minute. So to have a look at the Liverpool shape, so this is how they set up against Palace. Um, so I don't think this is quite right. I think Wirtz was a little bit more centrally, but this is what SofaScore has it has. Kirk has struggled a little bit. Kanate has not been very good at all. Their right backs have been a bit iffy with Bradley and Frimpong not kind of settling quite well, and Bradley been in and out with injuries. Still don't think their midfield is particularly strong from a defensive point of view, which is where we can really attack them. Salah's been playing really high and really wide, as you can see on the left hand side, and the striker situation has been a bit iffy when Isak's been playing because he's kind of still being pre-season mode, as Arnie Slot says. So, I mean, looking at that shape, there's big spaces behind Kirkes, there's big spaces behind Bradley, and they're very, very vulnerable from a counter perspective and in a transition perspective, which is where we need to attack them. I don't know if anybody watched the Palace game, but Palace kind of sat in, were very solid, and they hit them on the break. And they managed to create like 7 big chances against Liverpool. Their defense really, really hasn't been good, which is where I think we can get them. I mean, we've got to be very careful of of Isak and Salah. They're going to finish chances if we give them, and we obviously love coughing up chances. So we're going to have to be very solid. We're going to have to be very defensive. But I believe we can get at them through that midfield. I think our midfield is better. Caicedo is the best midfielder. Will be the best midfielder on the pitch for sure. Enzo has to do really well with his defensive discipline, which is where he lacks sometimes. And he'll be really key for his outlet balls as well, trying to get in behind them and play really quickly against them. That's where I think we win this game. They're going to have Mamadashvili in goal, who's not played yet this season, so we can exploit that. He's going to be nervous. He's not kind of played a competitive game yet, so let's get a few shots at him early. Let's attack Konate. He's looked terrible. It looks like his head's already in Madrid, maybe, or in the decision of if he stays or if he goes. I think we can get at Van Dijk if we get in behind them as well, because he's losing a bit of pace. So Pedro is going to be really key. He needs to attack the space in behind. He can't continue to just drop deep. Yes, that will be important for a bit of a link up of play and get him out of pressure, but he needs to get in behind them. I think that's the key for me. They've not been fantastic from set pieces as well. And we've actually scored over 50% of our goals from set pieces as well. So they could be quite key. Not quite sure who will score from a set piece, as everybody who usually does is injured. But Badiashile is an absolute unit, so he needs to physically impose himself from our set pieces and see if we can get something from there. Because outside of Konate and Van Dijk, they're not a particularly big side. Kirkis isn't, Bradley isn't, Gravenberch is quite big, but he's not fantastic in the air. McAllister's not big, Verts, etc. So we have opportunities to get at them in set pieces. So I think in transition and in set pieces are the two ways we can hurt them. But we just need to be solid defensively. And for me, I'd give up control and possession of the game for that in spells, and really attack them in transition. To go on to the predicted lineups, I've got on the left hand side the predicted, which is what I think Enzo Maresca would do, and then the wanted on the right hand side. So for the predicted side of things, I've gone for Sanchez in goal, Gusto, Josh, Badiashile, Cucurella, with James in midfield next to Caicedo. Enzo in the 10-8 role, but obviously a little bit more deeper to be more solid. Estevao on the right, Neto on the left, and Pedro up top. I personally don't really like the Neto on the left from an attacking perspective, but I do like it from a defensive perspective, and giving that extra support to Cucurella from a defensive standpoint against Salah will be really key. Obviously, James can push out and help Gusto on the right hand side with Estevao as well, and Enzo can drop kind of back into that pivot when we're off the ball. So that's what I think he'll do. That seems to be his blueprint when we're playing these big games: is James in midfield and Enzo in the 10. And to be fair, on my wanted side of things, I'm not really changing too much. I would just like Santos in the midfield and James at right back, because Gusto's look quite suspect at times. I prefer James, just a much better right back than Gusto. But that will come down to Santos's fitness. I was toying with the idea of Estevao on the 10, Neto on the right, and Garnacho on the left. But I think just for solidity and defensive side of points, I'd probably go for Enzo in the 10. To get onto the predicted, I've not gone for a particularly positive result. I think we'll lose 2-1, but I think Pedro will be the goal scorer for us, and the man of the match will be Badiashile for us, because he's going to be so important. I thought it was an unbelievable performance at the weekend. He looked very, very solid. Enzo Maresca is a massive fan of Badiashile. He asked the club not to sell him in the summer, because he likes him so much. So this is Badiashile's time to really nail down that left centre back spot, and I think he can. And I think he looked great against Benfica. I think it's just down to his injury record and if he can stay fit. I just feel like Liverpool are just going to find a way to beat us. I think our kind of mentality issues or vulnerabilities might be the thing that kind of loses it. The crowd are quite impatient and quite annoyed and rattled at the moment about how we're playing and our performances, and our results. So I just feel like the side was going to come under a big wave of pressure at some point, and I think we'll just find a way to lose. I don't think it'll be a bad performance, but I just don't think it will be a great result. I hope I'm wrong. I keep predicting wins. We kept losing or drawing, so I've gone for the other way. Maybe I'm the jinx, and it will be the other way round, and we will win because I've predicted a loss. I think there's definitely a chance of us getting something out of it. I just don't know if we will. That is the preview of the Liverpool game. My predictions, bit of a shorter one as it's just myself today. Just wanted to hop on here, give you guys a preview, give you my thoughts. So yeah, drop us a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Let us know what team you'd like, the score predictions. Drop a like on the video to make sure other people get to see it. Drop a comment and enter into the giveaway, and follow us all on the socials. Luke will be back next week, and we'll do a review of the Liverpool game, and maybe a guest that will appear in the international break. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all next time. Peace.